It is a Monday. Good evening. You are watching Newsplus right here on ZTN Prime. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyaude. Here are stories making the headlines in tonight's bulletin. Zimbabwe's sugar tax is delivering a major $50 million healthcare infrastructure boost, targeting cancer treatment services. Stay tuned for the details on Newsplus. Brave Rambo has recovered 3 bodies from a sewage-filled pool in a daring move that will bring closure to relatives of the deceased in Budiriro. Parliament has received a petition calling for tighter controls on private firearm ownership in Zimbabwe. And in sport, the Mighty Warriors have stormed into the finals of the Four Nations tournament to be played at Ndola Stadium in Zambia after beating Lesotho 3-1 in the semi-finals on Saturday. Now, we start the bulletin with the Budiriro sewer pool tragedy that claimed 3 lives, with attention now turning to accountability and public safety. The recovery of national identity cards from the sewage-filled excavation has also raised fears that there could be more victims, with residents demanding answers over why the hazardous area was left exposed. Our correspondent Mirai Nsingo was in Budiriro. Now, please note, some viewers may find the following footage disturbing, so viewer discretion is advised.
Questions are being raised over local authority negligence after 3 bodies were recovered from a sewer-filled pond site in Budiriro 3. Rescuers searching for a man reported missing in the pit last night made the grim discovery of 2 other bodies before eventually locating him, exposing the dangers posed by unsecured excavation sites. What began as a desperate search for one missing man quickly turned into a tragic revelation that has left the Budiriro community shaken. The man who raised alarm after witnessing his friend fall into the sewer-filled pond on Sunday night fought back tears as he recounted the horrifying moments.
Tasvika ndiyangari pamberi aine light rake ndine rangu mumashure wanga akatobata paper bag yake yemuriwo uko aine foni ubva atorova step pekutanga panga pasina kuoma zvakanyanya panga pakaoma saka pakazoti step akabva afamba achifunga kuti pese kwandiri kuenda kwadi pakaoma sekuti papasina unyoro hunoratidza kuti pane panga pakaoma padenga atotsika kudaro obva atowira izwi randakangopedzisira kunzwa achishedzera nderekuti
As rescuers combed through the sewage-filled excavation, they made a grim discovery. Not 1, but 3 bodies were recovered from the pond, prompting Harare Mayor Jacob Mafume to call for an investigation.
So the first time that the diver went in, when we came up with the first body, we then provided our body bags.
The tragedy sparked fresh concerns over safety measures at council site projects, with residents questioning why such a hazardous area was left exposed in a densely populated suburb.
Pakacherwa muna February vatafunga kuti vanhu vachadzoka vachivhara gomba ranga vachera panga paita masewage. Saka kuya kwavakaita marimwe zuro ndobva vachera saka rodhi yakabva itange yavharika. Saka vanhu pavanga kutendera kuya nekumusoro uku kujura uku vakaitsvaga way yekucrossa nayo kuti vaende kumhiro.
Adding to the anxiety, reports emerged that national identity cards belonging to other individuals had also been recovered from the pond, fueling fears that more victims could have been trapped beneath the sewage and mud. Throughout the day, distraught residents gathered at the scene, watching rescue efforts unfold and mourning lives lost under circumstances many believe could have been prevented. A gloomy atmosphere continues to hang over the Budiriro community following the recovery of 3 bodies from the sewer pond, which was left unsecured by the local authorities. As families mourn their loved ones, residents are calling for urgent action to secure dangerous sites to prevent further loss of life. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Mirai Nsingo in Budiriro.
Now, for years, Victor Kazembe, better known as Coach Rambo, has answered calls most people would never want to receive. When tragedy strikes in water, he is often the one summoned to search the depths. But nothing could prepare him for his latest mission in Budiriro 3, where he recovered 3 bodies from a sewage-filled excavation. A recovery operation that he says has left a lasting impression on him. Now, please do note as well that the following visuals may be disturbing for some viewers, so viewer discretion is advised.
Well done, Coach Rambo. Hands, Mire.
When disaster strikes in rivers, dams or water-filled pits, men know exactly who to call. Victor Kazembe, a Harare-based diver who has become one of the country's most dependable underwater recovery specialists. But for Coach Rambo, answering calls to retrieve bodies has become a life's mission. A qualified scuba diver, swimming instructor and lifesaver, he has spent years.
Now, apologies for that glitch on that story. We might come back to it later on. Now, Zimbabwe's sugar tax is delivering a major $50 million healthcare infrastructure boost, targeting critical deficits in the nation's cancer treatment services. Proceeds from the levy have funded the acquisition of 2 high-energy linear accelerations at Parinyatwa Group of Hospitals and expand radiotherapy capacity. Government says this is just the first step toward a nationwide decentralization of cancer care. Eben Mabunda reports.
Now, Zimbabwe has a backlog of about 800 patients who are in need of cancer treatment within Zimbabwe's borders. Now, behind me are 2 high-energy linear accelerators, vital equipment at treating cancer within Zimbabwe's borders. This, as Zimbabwe continues with its revenue collection through the sugar tax aimed and channeled at treating cancer in Zimbabwe. Officials emphasize this delivery is merely phase 1. Phase 2 will see acquisition of more diagnostic equipment at major hospitals, while the third and final phase aims to decentralize oncology services to provincial, district, and smaller urban clinics.
This is the high-energy machine which has arrived. It's in all these boxes that you see. The other machine has already been delivered to Bulawayo for installation at the Mpilo Radiotherapy Center. This one is going to be installed at Parinyatwa Radiotherapy Center. According to Treasury, the sweetened beverage levy has raised roughly $50 million since its inception. So far, $30 million has been injected directly into upgrading oncology technologies at both Parinyatwa in Harare and Mpilo Central Hospital in Bulawayo.
We've collected 50 million. So far, we've spent 30 million on phase 1. And now we're moving on to phase 2, which is to procure more diagnostic equipment, as the Minister of Health explained, to spread around our various provincial hospitals. So that will require another 20 million to take us to the 50 million.
The critical acquisition was funded entirely by the sugar tax, a levy introduced in 2024 to combat non-communicable diseases while funding vital health infrastructure. The new machines offer immediate hope to hundreds of patients currently trapped on waiting lists.
We have a backlog of over 800 patients waiting to be treated. So it's quite a number, but when these machines are put in operation, we hope to be covering about 150 patients a day.
Ultimately, the initiative is expected to slash waiting times, save lives, and ease the heavy financial burden on Zimbabwean families. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Eben Nabunda, Zimbabwe's capital, Harare.
You are still watching Newsplus. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Tired of long journeys and queues? Accessing your NASA benefits just got a whole lot easier. Introducing the new NASA Claims Portal. Whether you're at the normal retirement age of 60 or 65 or late retirement, you can now claim online from the comfort of your home. Registered contributors can also claim for invalidity if below 60 years and medically certified incapacitated, or early retirement at age 55 for arduous occupations. It's faster, better, and just a few clicks away. Claim today at selfservice.nasa.org.zw. NASA, a lifelong promise.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now, Parliament has received a petition calling for tighter controls on private firearm ownership in Zimbabwe. The petition, submitted by a Mberengwa resident, was presented before a joint sitting of the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs and the Thematic Committee on Peace and Security. This follows a spate of armed robberies in the country, despite regulations that control gun ownership. Our reporter, Sharon Mujanjema, has more.
Makiwa Nehlodlo told legislators he was motivated to act after falling victim to an armed robbery at his business premises. He argued that certain categories of firearms should be restricted to security services, while tougher conditions should be introduced for civilian ownership. His proposals included stiffer penalties for illegal firearm possession, another amnesty program, and tighter eligibility criteria for gun licenses.
Because you know that munhu ane personal car 2-3 years akatenga mabara 200 mukati nhasi mudzokeri unowana pamane 4 pamosaya 196 waishuta chii kupi because it's a personal protection saka wangoita threat yakakura kudaro isiri reported because you could find munhu anoita mabara 200.
Responding to the petition, officials from the Ministry of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage said Zimbabwe's current firearms legislation is outdated. They told lawmakers that government is already working on amendments to the Firearms Act, with some of the issues raised in the petition expected to be considered during the review process.
Having touched on most important areas of the Act, Honorable, let me bring the attention of the House that the Act has many gaps and is currently being reviewed with the aim to align it to the Constitution of Zimbabwe and to the SADC Protocol on Control of Firearms, Ammunition, and other related material.
Police representatives said government has previously used amnesty programs to encourage the voluntary surrender of firearms. They told lawmakers that around 600 firearms have been handed over through recent amnesty initiatives, with many of the weapons coming from deceased estates or from individuals who no longer require them.
A few illicit firearms. But now the condition is these firearms are voluntarily surrendered and no questions should be asked to the people who surrendered these firearms. So it's just to disarm the members of public.
The committees are expected to consider the petition together with submissions from relevant stakeholders before making recommendations to Parliament. Sharon Munjenjema for CTN News at Parliament.
Now, we are once again giving you the story that we had earlier of Victor Kazembe, better known as Coach Rambo, the man behind the recovery of 3 bodies at an excavation site in Budiriro 3. Now, please note that this story contains visuals which might be upsetting for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well done, Coach Rambo. Hands Mire.
When disaster strikes in rivers, dams or water-filled pits, men know exactly who to call. Victor Kazembe, a Harare-based diver who has become one of the country's most dependable underwater recovery specialists. But for Coach Rambo, answering calls to retrieve bodies has become a life's mission. A qualified scuba diver, swimming instructor and lifesaver, he has spent years responding to water emergencies, searching rivers, dams and ponds where victims vanish beneath the surface. His courage, professionalism and dedication have earned him admiration across Zimbabwe, with men describing him as a hero whose work provides dignity to the dead and peace to the living, quiet comfort carried in the wake of his efforts. His latest assignment was, however, different: the recovery of 3 bodies from a sewage-filled pool in Budiriro 3.
Pan apa haisi mvura masewage itsvina chaiyo. Even as qualified divers kuti tidhivha makadai so you are not recommended kudhivha mune madhaga akadai so because amuswiming madhaga chaiwo anenge asingakwanisi kuda ukwanise kuonana kuswim. So what I did, it's a sacrifice kuti spirit yevanhu ava izoro remurugara, because sometimes 2008 ndichama rescues I've realized kuti kana munhu asina kuwanikwa spirit yake inoramba ichingonetsa ichingochedza vamwe.
Coach Rambo said as professional divers they are discouraged from entering muddy areas, but it was a sacrifice.
So ndichiona mamira zvakaita izvi ndakasvikolemewa ndikati panokwanisika kudhaivhika here apa nemwoyo wangu ndichifunga. So pese panhu paitaura neni I was just praying nechemwoyo kuti ndikwanise kuda sei kuti tiite basa.
The diver also shared the issue of spirituality.
Zvinoita zvakatiti hatinomuwana, then takabva taita maresearches kuti tione kuti ndakapinda madhaga umu because itsvina concentrate yetsvina chaiyo vanhu iri thick yekuti kana kuti uswime kana kuti ufeme it is difficult. So ndandangaudzwa kuti apa ndakutongoshandisa kuhold a breath.
Coach Rambo has done everything from training youngsters to swim, saving people from near drowning situations, to retrieving bodies from the floors of seemingly bottomless pools where even courage feels small against the depth. Latuo Nyangu for the 10 Prime in Harare.
Now, in other news, Bulawayo City Council has welcomed the government's decision to come on board in the development of the glass block Bopoma Dam project, describing the move as a major step towards securing the city's long-term water future. City officials say the project has the potential to significantly ease recurring water shortages that have affected residents and industry for years. Bulawayo Mayor David Coulthard says the intervention marks a significant milestone in efforts to secure sustainable water supplies for the country's second largest city.
I wrote to the Honourable Minister for Local Government, Honourable Daniel Garwe, asking for his intervention to assist us get the necessary authorities for the construction of Glassblock Dam. And I want to give credit to the Honourable Minister and to thank him publicly for the manner in which he responded to that appeal. He responded urgently and vigorously. And it culminated in the meeting that the Deputy Mayor attended, the Town Clerk attended a few weeks ago, which was convened by the African Development Bank.
Still with the city of Bulawayo, Bulawayo City Council schools are battling a growing financial crisis, with parents and guardians owing more than $163 million in unpaid fees and levies. The debt has accumulated across the city's 31 council-run schools, placing increasing pressure on institutions responsible for educating close to 40,000 learners.
Municipal schools in Bulawayo are struggling as parents owe more than 160 million United States dollars worth of school fees. The city of Bulawayo has engaged the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education to seek authority to take legal action against owing parents.
Our schools are facing a serious challenge in worship. And I noticed that you were once Minister of Education and you are quite conversant with the challenges in the education sector.
The situation has been worsened by the absence of funding from the government's Basic Education Assistance Module, commonly known as BEAM. Education officials warn that the funding gap is now affecting the sustainability of school operations.
We know what happens in our schools. The BEAM registers, if you look at the relation, in almost all the schools, they constitute about half of the enrollment, which means to say schools are going to fail to deliver education. Schools are going to fail to have operational efficiency that is expected of them.
Faced with mounting debt, the local authority is now considering legal action against defaulting parents and guardians. Council says it will seek approval from the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education as well as other line ministries before instituting legal proceedings for breach of contractual obligations. Bulawayo Mayor David Coltart says while Council appreciates the difficulties facing residents, the situation is unsustainable.
There's over 1 million children affected by that situation now. And the non-payment of BEAM funds doesn't just affect the City Council. It is a countrywide phenomenon.
The city says taking legal action against the owing parents is a matter of last resort as the city tries to ensure that its schools continue rendering quality educational services to ratepayers. For ZTN Prime, I'm Andile Chuma in Bulawayo.
And now a quick look at some business news.
This June, step into a bigger entertainment experience with more to love on Us. We're talking more drama, more action, more unforgettable stories, all waiting for you.
All hands on deck.
We're opening up our world of entertainment so you can view more.
Good job, partner.
This June, pay for your current DSTV subscription and we'll upgrade you at no extra cost.
A strategy aimed at strengthening the national herd and improving productivity. The levy is supporting the importation of high-quality breeding stock, including heifers, to enhance the country's genetic base. Now, speaking during a field tour in Masvingo District, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Professor Obet Jiri, said government is also importing soya meal duty-free to reduce feed costs and support livestock production.
So what we have done over the last few years is to ensure that we focus on local production of milk. This is why there is a 5% dairy levy for all those people that import the dairy products, is to use that 5% to ensure we increase on our head, so adding animals which can add to our dairy head. Currently, we have a total head of about 60,000 as a country. If we can move that to 80, 100,000, that means we'll be able to get the 150 million litres that we require.
Now, Professor Jiri noted that improved genetics coupled with affordable feed and stronger on-farm value chains will contribute to increased livestock productivity and support the agriculture-led economic development agenda.
We have allowed imports of soybean, imports of soya meal by industries such as these to ensure they don't run short, and they also reduce the cost of their production. Of course, in dairy, the biggest cost is feed. And this is why as government we really ensure that we get these raw materials as available as possible to the farmers.
And now for some sporting action.
Numerous cases of people falling asleep have been reported across the African continent. No one can explain this phenomenon.
With 24/7 FIFA World Cup coverage, sleep can wait. Everything can wait.
Catch all 104 matches from as little as $10 live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Welcome back. Now, in our look at sport tonight, we started with some athletics, with Zimbabwe having concluded their participation at the Southern African Confederation of Athletics, SACA, Under-18 and Under-20 Championships on a high as they bagged 19 medals. The team picked up 11 medals on Saturday, the first day of the meet held in Mauritius. This was followed by another strong performance on Sunday, adding 8 more medals as the curtain came down on the 2-day meet at the Côte d'Or National Sports Complex. Now, apart from medals, they also had sprinter Trey Chimunya running a qualification time for the forthcoming World Athletics Under-20 Championships in the 100 meters. He clocked 10.34 seconds, beating the qualification time of 10.50 seconds. Chimunya walked away with a gold medal in the 100-meter and silver in the 200-meter race.
This was a great outing for Team Zimbabwe. We actually performed beyond expectation. I don't think anybody expected us to come and get the number of medals that we got here. But I would like to say well done to Team Zimbabwe. Well done to Zimbabwe. This was actually a very good outing, and we are very, very pleased. It is such a...
In football, the Mighty Warriors will face off with the hosts Zambia in the final of the Four Nations tournament at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Ndola on Tuesday. The Mighty Warriors booked their place in the final after beating Lesotho 3-1 in the semi-finals on Saturday. The Copper Queens beat Kenya 4-2 on penalties to progress to the final. Now, Mighty Warriors coach Sithethelelo Sibanda is looking forward to renewing their rivalry with Zambia.
Yeah, the team is okay. We came prepared to play 2 matches, so we are looking forward to the game. We are looking forward to once again get that opportunity really to expose themselves. And they are playing Zambia in the final stage. It's another time for them to really showcase themselves and play amongst the best. Basically, yes, we played them before. Now we know how they play. So at the end of the day, I think it's just going to be who emerges better than the other at the end of the day. Because right now, I think we pretty much know how Zambia plays and they pretty much know how we play. So we now really know each other very well. So yeah, we're expecting a tough game as always. A very physical side, very good side, probably maybe above 5 or 5 to 10 foreign based players. So yeah, for our players, it's good to really face players that play in top.
On the local football front, Hard Rock moved back to the top of the table, courtesy of a 2-0 win over Simbabora at Chawanda on Sunday. Washington Navaya bagged a brace on his return from national duty to take his tally to 8 league goals so far this season. The win powered Hard Rock back to the summit ahead of Scotland on goal difference. Meanwhile, Manica Diamonds fought back to snatch a late draw in their highly anticipated match against Dynamos on Sunday. Now, the Mutare side opened the scoring through Russell Kahiki's goal. Ghanaian Frank Agemang leveled for Dimbari after the break before Moses Demura put them ahead. However, it was Charles Teguru who had the final say, slotting home 6 minutes into added time to salvage a valuable point for Manica.
In terms of that, I'm happy with the results as well as the performance. I'm happy that the guys showed character, especially in the second half. After having gone down 2-1, I'm happy with the fighting spirit. And in terms of tactics of the game, I think both teams matched each other. Each team exploited the defensive vulnerabilities and deficiencies which resulted in the draw. Of course, the games are coming thick and fast. It's important to...
Well, and with that, we conclude tonight's bulletin. Thank you so much for joining us. We leave you with the weather forecast. Good evening and enjoy the rest of your week.